Classic rock that really rocks. Rock 95. Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper on Rock 95. Classic rock is Rock 95. Classic rock. That really rocks. Rock 95. Now, back to Alice Cooper.
Okay, check, check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. Well, we can turn it up. Check 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. Just a note for those of you that are with us tonight on KNOXradio.com, we've had an absolutely full slate of junior varsity matches, which is the reason for the delay. But we will be starting shortly. Right now, they're doing a Parents' Night presentation, and the wrestlers will come out for warm-ups, and then we'll begin our broadcast from Central High School. So, again, we apologize for the long wait here. We were told somewhere around 7:15, but they had a full junior varsity duel plus, I believe, 9 additional exhibition matches. So we'll be getting started shortly. Thank you for being with us.
You are on Rock 95. Rock 95. Classic rock that really rocks.
A berth in the state duels and an EDC championship could be on the line tonight for the Central Wrestling team as the Knights host the visiting Fargo-Davies Eagles here in Grand Forks. Hello, everyone. Ryan Cunningham for KNOX Sports, and we're at Central High School tonight as we get ready for what should be a fantastic dual competition. The Davies Eagles and the Central Knights will be looking for a chance to secure a spot in the Eastern Dakota, or rather into the state dual championships, and also keep their chances for an Eastern Dakota Conference championship in the regular season alive. As we take a look at the Eastern Dakota Conference standings coming into the night, you'll see that the West Fargo Packers are the #1 team in the conference with a record of 5-0, and they're the only team to have beaten Valley City thus far at 5-1. Grand Forks Central at 4-1 and Davies at 4-2. This one can go a long way tonight to giving one of these teams a chance at the top 4, which is what it takes to qualify for the state dual championships coming up in February. Up next, Jeff Welsh, the head coach of the Grand Forks Central Knights wrestling team, will join us to give you a preview of the matchup tonight. Central Wrestling from Grand Forks Central tonight on KNOXradio.com. Welcome back to Grand Forks Central High School. Proud tradition of wrestling here at Grand Forks Central. The Knights and the Fargo-Davies Eagles tonight here on KNOXradio.com. As we take a look at our key matchups for tonight, you can see 3 different weight classes where we could have ranked wrestlers chasing one another this evening at 160, 170, and at 220 with the lineup, subject to change, of course. And that's where our next guest comes into play, Jeff Welsh, the head coach of the Grand Forks Central Wrestling team, joining us here tonight. Coach, it's a huge duel. It's a chance for you to move yourself securely into the top 4 with a chance in the state duels and keep those EDC championship hopes alive.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's there's 4 or 5 teams at the top here, and we're right there. And if we could win tonight, we'd probably get ourselves into the top 3 and still have a chance at the top 1 if we win our remaining 3 duels.
And you've got a few of those left to go, but let's talk about tonight. Obviously, we saw on that graphic a couple of moments ago, the upper weights have a lot of very skilled wrestlers on both sides. The lower weights might be really where some of the balance is shifted in your direction tonight.
Yeah, we think we're favored in the lighter weights, and we think we're pretty even with them in the upper weights. You know, at 160, Ben Stevens gets his first chance at the Chalupek kid from Davies, and he's ranked, and then we're hoping we get to see Jaden Mayers again. We weighed our guy in at 82, and he's at 70. They might bump, they might not. So we'll see if that happens. And then I think 220, we got a couple ranked guys too. Grant Sullivan, I believe, is wrestling, their ranked wrestler.
And you always see some toss-up matches when you come into a duel like this. Where do you think those toss-up matches might be tonight?
Yeah, 152, they've got a really good kid, Brody Moore, but we wrestled a close 6-2 match with him the other day. I think 145 is a toss-up match for us, and those would probably be the main toss-up matches.
And the real goal for this team all season, Coach, you mentioned it at the end of last year, qualify again for the state duels. You have a chance to basically do that tonight.
Right, yeah. If we win tonight, I haven't done the math, but I think we'd be locked into the top 4. Davies would have a 3rd loss, and we've only got 1. And Devils Lake has 3 losses, and we beat them. So I'm not sure, but I think if we won tonight, we'd actually be into the top 3. And then we're going to have to win some duels and win a point differential and a tiebreaker at the end of the season if we get that far. So
it'll be an exciting night tonight. It's Parents' Night here at Grand Forks Central. We have it for you coming up next. It's Grand Forks Central Knights Wrestling as they take on the Fargo Davies Eagles next on KNOXradio.com. And we welcome you back to Central High School. Live coverage of Central Knights Wrestling tonight on Rock 95 and online at KNOXradio.com as we get started at 170 pounds this evening with our duel between Fargo Davies and Grand Forks Central. And tonight we get things started with Dryder for Grand Forks Central at 170 pounds going up against Jaden Mayers, the number 2 ranked 170 pounder in the state. And Jaden Mayers with a quick upper body throw that has Dryder on his back to get things started. This is not the match we expected at 170 pounds tonight, as Grand Forks Central's Will Rorick, the number 1 ranked wrestler in North Dakota at 170 pounds, was not able to make weight at 170, and a quick fall to get things started tonight for Jaden Mayers will make it a 6-0 lead in favor of Fargo Davies over Grand Forks Central. We welcome you to our broadcast tonight on KNOXradio.com and also our broadcast this evening on Rock 95 Radio. Ryan Cunningham with you tonight along with Noah Chalaya and Brad Schmidt at the controls here at Central High School. And as we mentioned, a big change to get things started tonight for Grand Forks Central. They expected to have Will Rorick going at 170 pounds, the number 1 ranked wrestler in the state, but he did not make his 170-pound weight. They were expecting that he could go on the mat a little bit heavy tonight. He didn't have the chance to do that, so he will now move up to 182 pounds, which is where we're at right now. But it's 6-0 in favor of Fargo Davies after the opening bout tonight. 6-0 in favor of Davies. And we'll have Will Rorick on the mat now for Grand Forks Central as he goes up against Reed, who will move up to that 182 spot. Rylan Reed will step in for Fargo Davies and wrestle 182 this evening. And we get started with a takedown for Will Rorick that will make it 2-0. And, of course, Rorick now feels some pressure against Reed trying to equalize that fall that was surrendered by Grand Forks Central at 170 pounds. So, again, a 6-0 lead for Fargo Davies to get things started tonight after the number 2 ranked wrestler in the state, Jaden Mayers, comes up with a fall in that weight class. And Will Rorick is on the mat right now from the top position for Grand Forks Central after an opening takedown. leading by a score of 2-0. The match is brought to you tonight commercial-free on Rock 95 by our great sports sponsors with us throughout the course of the season. They include Applegren Construction, Phil Thompson and Associates, All About Moving and Storage, American Crystal Sugar, and Franson Bank and Trust, one of our premier sports partners. Warwick riding from the left-hand side with an arm underneath the body, 2-on-1, reaches underneath on the left leg trying to turn over Rylan Reed, and now has him in the corkscrew 2-on-1 combination, turning that around the head, and he's able to turn Reed into a near fall combination. The counts for near fall awarded. Reed tries to turn through it. Rourke a bit late countering with the half Nelson. 2 points of near fall awarded to Rourke, and he will take a 4-0 lead in the bout. Reed with a sit-out turn in. He'll get the escape. Rourke wants to go back to the feet, and it's 4-1 in favor of Will Rourke in the 182-pound class with 25 seconds to go in the opening period. And a quick takedown again for Rourke, just quickly going back to the takedown combination, and he'll take a 6-1 lead. Again, anything short of a fall here for Grand Forks Central might be a little disappointing at 182, with Rourke moving in against a junior varsity wrestler from Fargo Davies who enters the lineup after they had an issue with their prospective 182-pounder being a little bit too light tonight. He wrestled junior varsity. So this is a substitute wrestler for Fargo Davies in the form of Rylan Reed. Reed will be down 6-0 as we go to the second period. Rourke has his choice. He will choose to defer. And we'll see Rylan Reed looking to his bench, and Rylan Reed will choose the bottom position. So Reed will go from bottom, and Rourke will ride from the right-hand side to get things started with the second period, and Rourke on top by a score of 6-1. Rourke riding from the right-hand side, goes 2-on-1 underneath on the right arm. Rylan Reed trying to brace himself out and widen his body a little bit to try to keep some leverage away. Goes to a turn on the shoulder, felt himself getting a little bit too high, came back to his base combination, and Rourke will ride again, now jumping over to the left-hand side. Rourke will let go of the arm, goes underneath the body, looking again for that 2-on-1. He had a good corkscrew back in the opening period, and we'll try going back to it here in the second. But right now, Reed bracing his body strongly. And again, when you're Rylan Reed in this situation, your job is to simply stay off your back. If you can keep away from giving up the 6 points, you've really done your job, and Fargo Davies would take that trade. They get the fall from Jaden Mayers at 170, and Rourke moves up to 182, and that gives them the opportunity to come out a point or two ahead after that trade of matches with the number 1 and number 2 ranked wrestlers at 170 pounds going in split weight classes tonight. Sit out and turn in by Reed, and again Rourke is there to counter it off. Good bit of riding here by Rourke, but so far unable to work a turn against Rylan Reed. And so far, with 50 seconds left of the second period, Rylan Reed's done a nice job stepping in to this varsity spot for Fargo Davies. Reed back up to his base, broken down as Rourke works a bull drive on the right arm. Rourke will try to widen that out, have a good deep waist underneath as well to keep control of Reed. Reed to a shoulder, trying to turn his way back to the middle. Rourke able to bar that arm up across the back. Not a lot of time to thread it, however, down to 25 seconds to go in the period. He has it barred. Let's see how he finishes the combination. He'll jump into a half Nelson on the left side, goes back under the arm, and Reed so far, again, able to brace himself out of that combination. And Will Rourke doing a nice job of riding out on Rylan Reed here in this second period, unable to work a turn to this point. He's kept Reed from getting to his feet. Clock down to 4 seconds and down to 2, and that's going to be the end of the second period. Rourke will maintain his first period lead of 6-1 going into the third. His choice, and he'll immediately choose bottom. So Rourke will go from bottom, and we'll see Rylan Reed choosing to ride, it looks like, from the left-hand side. Reed will take that ride from the left-hand side, and we're back up. Rourke up to his feet, looking back at a switch. Rourke trying to counter that off across the waist, but Rourke able to get to his feet. Now Reed surrendering on a single leg try, trying to hold on to control, and Rourke went right after the Wizard to try to break that off. They're going to rule that a potentially dangerous hold, and we'll go back to the middle and reset. 6-1 your score in the third, with Will Rourke on top by 5. That was the first period score. Davies leads the duel 6-0 on the Hugo's Low scoreboard, working a fall for Jaden Mayers at 170 pounds, and Reed just hacking at Rourke's left arm, trying to break him down. Rourke staying out of that. The official gave it a good look. Rourke up to his feet, trying to peel off Rylan Reed's hands, and Reed collapses right at that single leg again. Rourke will counter that off with a Wizard, comes back from behind and got the reversal. So Rourke will make it an 8-1 lead, needs at least one more point to work the major decision. Up by 7 right now with 1:15 to go. And we'll see what happens in the final minute, 10 seconds of this second period as Rourke tries to do a bit more scoring for Grand Forks Central in the 182-pound weight class. Arm again barred up across the back for Rourke. Let's see if he can work that thread combination. He's got it 90 degrees. It's the right arm of Rylan Reed. Rourke jumps back across the head. Now the thread the needle is complete into that reverse half Nelson, but Reed able to turn himself out of it. He's still got a good power move on the left arm out of that reverse half, but again, potentially dangerous is the call. And right now, such good work from the feet at this point, Rourke is going to make the decision to go neutral. So he'll surrender the escape, and Reed will make it a 8-2 lead. So now Rourke looking for a takedown to make this a major decision. Single leg shot, Reed on a good sprawl. Rourke trying to pull that single leg shot in, and Reed continues to work on a head combination, trying to counter off that deep single leg shot. Rourke continues to hold the single leg, trying to move from behind, now up into a double. And quick turn, a nice play by Rourke as he was able to make that quick turn, single into the double, nice combination. That'll make it an 8-point lead for Rourke at 10-2 with a clock down to 10 seconds left of the third. And Central's going to settle for a major decision, it would appear, at 182 pounds. So Mears will get the fall at 170 for Fargo Davies, and Rourke will get a major decision 10-2 over Rylan Reed at 182 pounds. And that'll make it 6-4. Grand Forks Central will get 4 points back at 182 and trail by 2 on our Hugo's Low scoreboard as we will go to our next bout at 195 pounds tonight. Our schedule has Austin Bicker, a sophomore for Grand Forks Central, going up against Faraz Omar, a senior for Fargo Davies. We'll see who checks in. The match brought to you commercial-free tonight by Abra Auto Body and Glass, New Vision Truck and Accessories, Lake Region State University, PKM Electric, and Nodak Insurance. Chris Moen, your agent in Grand Forks, as the wrestlers meet collar and elbow in the middle of the mat. This will be Cameron Bridgeford, who goes up from 182 to 195 for Grand Forks Central. He will face Faraz Omar, so it's Bridgeford versus Omar at 195 for Grand Forks Central, and a single leg shot by Bridgeford that will force Omar off the mat. They'll come back to the middle to reset. So they'll reset once again in the middle. With 1:35 left of the opening period, Omar initiates a tie. Bridgeford will step away from that, tries to reinitiate on the left-hand side of the mat. As we take a look at it tonight, a step away by Omar, Bridgeford back into it. Bridgeford goes to work over and under. He might be trying to load up for a big throw right in the middle of the mat. Omar moving in on Bridgeford, and now it's Omar that tries the throw, but Bridgeford countered it off. He goes to work on a front headlock combination. Under the arm on the right side, trying to move from behind to pick up that takedown if he can find it. Reaches after the leg, good spin. Omar counters. Bridgeford locks it up front cradle. He's got Omar for the takedown awarded, and he's got Omar locked up in a front cradle combination as well. They're on the outer ring on the far edge of the mat. Official looking closely. They'll come back to the middle and reset. Good combination by Cameron Bridgeford, able to turn that into a front cradle going from the feet into that combination. In the end, however, they'll come back to the middle with no more damage done. 2-0 Cameron Bridgeford with 50 seconds left to wrestle here in the opening period. Bridgeford riding, and a quick turn by Omar, but able to be turned right back towards the middle of the mat. And now Bridgeford going to work once again on a ride, looking towards the half Nelson bar arm combination. He has a bar arm on the right-hand side. Now goes half Nelson right side. He had Omar looking in momentarily. Omar will look away. Bridgeford still working that half Nelson from the right-hand side. And there's the turn by Bridgeford out of the half Nelson bar arm, and Omar's in trouble with 20 seconds of the opening period remaining. Omar in some trouble on the far side of the mat as Bridgeford goes to work half Nelson bar arm. Another push on Omar, and there's the fall. It'll be recorded for Cameron Bridgeford. The time will be at 1:48 seconds. A fall at 1:48, 6 more for Grand Forks Central, and it's 10-6. The Knights will take a 4-point lead after 195 pounds as we get ready for our 220-pound bout tonight. Grant Sullivan, a senior, scheduled against Truman Weremeyer, a sophomore. Another one of those ranked matchups where Sullivan at 220 is ranked second in North Dakota, and Truman Weremeyer is ranked 4th in North Dakota at that weight class. And we'll get things started as we go into our next bout of the night, now with Grand Forks Central on top by a 4-point margin at 10-6. It'll be Sullivan versus Weremeyer, so we get the scheduled matchup for us tonight, and this should be one of the better ones tonight. Number 2 versus number 4. Brought to you tonight commercial-free by PS Garage Doors, Spray Advantage, Mayville State University, Roston Auto Sales, and East Grand Forks Dairy Queen. The wrestlers on their feet in the middle of the mat, and right now locking up on some arm combinations, down to a knee for Weremeyer. Bridgeford steps away from that. Both wrestlers trying to tie up arms in this situation. Bridgeford loading up, maybe down to a knee momentarily. Weremeyer back down to 1, and they're edging towards the Fargo-Davies side of the mat. A good stand-up again on the right side by Weremeyer, turning his back out. Bridgeford trying to hold the interior position. Now it's Bridgeford held towards the outside of the mat. Weremeyer pulls out an arm. Bridgeford happy to go over-under on his right-hand side. Shuck the head, stalemate. We're going to go back to the middle and reset. 56.2 seconds left. Sullivan, number 2 in North Dakota at 220. Weremeyer, number 4 in the state. Same weight class and a good matchup here tonight at 220 with Central on top by 4. Could be one of those decider matches tonight for both of these wrestlers, and they'll be familiar with each other pretty well here. EDC competitors will be in the mix for EDC championships with the other wrestlers in their weight classes. Jacob Boehm ranked number 1 from Mandan. Josh Crump is the 3rd-ranked wrestler at 220. He's from Wahpeton and also in the Eastern Dakota Conference. Sullivan tying up head and arm with Weremeyer. Weremeyer's back on the outer edge of the mat. Sullivan trying to throw a little bit of a whizzer throw. He's got Weremeyer towards the hip, and now will come with the duck under and completes the takedown. So Grant Sullivan comes up with the first points in our 220-pound bout and takes a 2-0 lead on Truman Weremeyer as the final seconds of the opening period come towards a conclusion, with Sullivan riding from the right-hand side, going deep waist, hard towards a right arm, and that will end the first period of wrestling. We'll go back to the middle for the second. The choice will go to Sullivan, and Sullivan will defer. Weremeyer will have his choice, and Truman Weremeyer will choose the bottom position. For those of you tonight listening in on Rock 95, we gave you the preview tonight on KNOXradio.com early in our pregame show, but tonight, for those of you that are listening on Rock 95, this would very likely secure a spot in the state duels for the winner between these two teams tonight. Central comes in with 1 loss at 4-1, Davies 1 loss at 5-1. And also, or correction, I believe Davies has 2 losses rather at 4-2. And Grand Forks Central and Fargo-Davies both looking up in the EDC at West Fargo and Valley City, 5-0 and 5-1, respectively. Wrestlers back on their feet towards the middle of the mat. And Weremeyer goes after a front headlock combination. And able to turn out of that was Sullivan. Weremeyer's worked the escape out of a stand-up here in this period to make it 2-1 your score. And they're locked up in the middle once again as they move out towards the outer edge of the mat. 220-pound weight class tonight, 4th bout of the night. And so far, 2 bouts to Grand Forks Central, 1 for Fargo-Davies, as Mayers picks up the win by fall at 170 pounds. The wrestlers meeting each other again. Grant Sullivan for Grand Forks Central, Truman Weremeyer for Fargo-Davies. They lock up on the outer edge of the mat near us. Again, over and unders. That's really been the choice for both of these wrestlers so far throughout the match. They've been looking for throws, both of them. Another whizzer-type throw here by Sullivan. Another duck under takedown. He's done it twice. And Grant Sullivan will give his team a 4-1 edge in the 220-pound weight class. So Grant Sullivan going to the same combination for 2 takedowns in the match. Weremeyer a sit out. Sullivan caught the arm, bars it up across the back. He's got a good situation here. Let's see how he looks to finish it as Weremeyer tries to brace out his body. Half Nelson bar arm. No, we've got a chicken wing locked in on the right side. Sullivan's going to try to run chicken wing bar arm. The official looking closely at the hold to make sure it stays legal and non-dangerous. He'll give up the bar arm, continues to work chicken wing, does Sullivan on his right-hand side. Weremeyer will reach out of that, and it's still 4-1 as the second period comes to a conclusion here at 220 pounds. Central leading the duel by a score of 10-6 as we go to the third in our 220-pound weight class. The number 2 wrestler in the state in the latest coaches' rankings, Grand Forks Central's Grant Sullivan from bottom to start the third, with his team on top by 3 in this bout and on top by 4 in the match. Sullivan from his base combination, Weremeyer riding a little bit high on the ride on the left-hand side. Sullivan back into a base combination, trying to work his way up towards his feet. Good bit of riding by Weremeyer here to keep this moving, and Weremeyer will go bull drive on the left-hand side. He's got the arm wrenched out momentarily into a short sit for Sullivan. He turns through the sit out and turn in, up to his feet. He'll break away from Wehrmeyer, and that's the escape for Grant Sullivan. Sullivan will make it 5-1 in favor of Grand Forks Central in the 220-pound bout. Shot attempt by Wehrmeyer from long range. Sullivan sprawled out of the double leg pretty well. Goes to work power half Nelson. He's got Wehrmeyer in a bit of trouble in the middle of the mat. Wehrmeyer realized it. He'll brace out to avoid the turn and will give up the takedown. That makes it 7-1, Sullivan by 6. We'll see how Sullivan tries to play this final minute here. He's got a 6-point lead, needs 2 more to try to work the major decision for Grand Forks Central and pick up another team point in this 220-pound class, and that would be a bonus point for Grand Forks Central if they could get a bit of a turn. He has the ability to let him up and go takedowns. Not a lot of time left. Sullivan will surrender the escape. That makes it 7-2, but a takedown now would make it still a 7-point gap. He's got to come up with 2 2-for-1s to try to turn this into a major decision for Central. They're on the left-hand side of the mat again. Wehrmeyer stepping away from Sullivan, and maybe just trying to play a little defense here for Wehrmeyer to keep himself in a point where he doesn't give up that extra throw or that extra combination. Sullivan loading up double underhooks. Now goes in towards the back, and with 16.5 seconds to go, they're off the mat. They'll go back to the middle and reset. 16.5 seconds left of the third. And here they go again as they lock up in the middle with the arms. It's been the arms the entire match. Another throw by Wehrmeyer, desperation throw. Sullivan stops him. Sullivan had an arm caught high momentarily, but can't capitalize. 9-2 will be the final score as Sullivan comes up with a takedown to end the match. 3 more points for Grand Forks Central, and the Knights will take a 13-6 lead after the 220-pound bout. We get ready for our heavyweight bout tonight at 285 pounds. Brody Defoe of Grand Forks Central scheduled to go up against Andrew Tigan of Fargo Davies. One thing to mention, Davies doesn't really have the opportunity from here on out to bump or to play a matchup game. They weighed in only 14 wrestlers, so they've got a full complement, but nothing to come in off the bench after their varsity weigh-ins tonight. So we do get going, and it will be Defoe and Tigan. Defoe for Grand Forks Central and Tigan for Fargo Davies as we start our heavyweight bout tonight. We move to the little guys next. And our bout tonight is brought to you commercial-free by East Grand Forks Water and Light, by Farmers Union Insurance, Aaron Dunphy, your agent, Walls Medicine Center, the Marshall County Fair, and Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge in Grand Forks. Minute 35 left of the opening period, and a quick throw attempt by Tigan, or correction by Defoe. He's got Tigan in a head and arm combination. Tigan's in some trouble on the near side of the mat with a lot of time left in the first period. A head and arm by Defoe, and Tigan's on his back in the heavyweight bout on the near side of the mat with a minute 15, and there's the fall. And we'll see a big 6-point turn for Brody Defoe at heavyweight for Grand Forks Central. The time will be 45 seconds of the opening period, and Defoe will give his team a 19-6 advantage after the heavyweight bout. Big throw for Defoe out of the head and arm combination. He caught Tigan head and arm, and that was enough. Keenan Spiess comes out onto the mat, the head coach for Fargo Davies, and maybe asking a couple of questions about that fall, but the fall was recorded. And now we'll go to 106 pounds tonight. Grand Forks Central set to go with Evan Ziemer, and Abdi Noor will go for Fargo Davies. They're both freshmen. Match will be brought to you commercial-free tonight by the Golf Center, Acme Tools, Home of Economy, Hugo's, and Gregory Norman Funeral Home in Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. And we get started at 106 pounds. The matchup that we will have tonight will be Ziemer versus Noor, and it's Evan Ziemer that comes up with the opening takedown. Now he's got a turn on Noor, and Noor's in some trouble out of a half Nelson reverse, half thrown in front of the Fargo Davies bench, and Noor trying to work a fall at 106 pounds tonight. May have said 103, apologies, 106. Noor in trouble bridging, doing a nice job, but there's the fall against Abdi Noor. The time will be just 30 seconds of the opening period, and Evan Ziemer will work a fall. Grand Forks Central has reeled off 5 consecutive wins and will take a 25-6 lead over Fargo Davies after 106 pounds. We go to 113. Tyson Gass set to go on the mat. Gass is ranked the number 6th ranked wrestler in the state at 103, or rather 106. He's ready to wrestle 113 tonight. Avery Moore is his scheduled opponent. That will be the matchup. So it's Gass versus Moore, brought to you commercial-free by Perkins Family Restaurant, Jarrell Sports Center, and Hockey World, Applegren Construction and Phil Thompson and Associates, and a quick single leg shot going low on a low single, and we'll see the takedown to Tyson Gass. He'll take a 2-0 lead in the opening period of this matchup against Avery Moore. Moore is an 8th grader. Tyson Gass is a junior for Grand Forks Central. And so Gass with an experience, and he's going to go right into a beautiful turn underneath the waist, and he's got Moore in trouble. Moore able to roll out of it. A little chicken wing turn combination, the arm barred up underneath, and Gass going to work looking for a fall for Grand Forks Central at 113 pounds, which would really pad the lead for the Knights. Avery Moore trying to turn out of it. He was able to get out of the chicken wing bar, but able to counter that up as Gass into a head and arm combination. And he's got Moore in some trouble on the right side of the mat in front of the Davies bench. And there's the fall. That one will be at 56 seconds of the opening period. 3 consecutive falls for Central, and it will be 31-6 for Grand Forks Central over Fargo Davies after our 113-pound bout. And with 3 consecutive falls in the first minute, the varsity bout, which we waited for so long tonight, is really beginning to speed up on us as we'll move to 120 pounds. Braden Williams, a sophomore for Grand Forks Central, will take on Clado Nisko, also a sophomore for Fargo Davies. And right now, Nisko with a good single leg shot. Able to counter that off was Williams, both wrestlers standing, and Williams going to work on a bear hug. Now the 120-pound wrestlers are the ones looking for the throws. And action will settle down momentarily. A throw attempt by Nisko. Correction, Nisko will get the counter out of it after the throw attempt by Williams. No takedown awarded yet, but Nisko in pretty good situation. Williams trying to break out of the 2-on-1, and into the end, it'll be Nisko with that throw to the mat for the takedown. So the opening points at 120 will go to Clado Nisko, and that makes it a 2-0 lead for Fargo Davies in Nisko here in this 120-pound matchup. And Nisko going to work on a crossface, now coming back across for the drape cradle. Williams able to get that long body up in the air. He goes to work on a throw on Nisko. Tried that wizard throw once, and now the escape not yet awarded, and now they will award the escape. Williams will pick up the escape just standing up. Now he picks a leg on Nisko, tries to lift him in the air, back trip, and Nisko's taken to the mat. Nice takedown combination for Braden Williams. Lifts the leg high and goes to work on a back trip, and he's got Nisko's leg split here. And he goes after a half Nelson, and this is Williams with an advantageous situation with leverage on the legs. He's got Nisko 90 degrees, begins to turn him over out of a half Nelson turn. Nisko with an athletic bridge to stay off his back. Here comes the near fall combination. And the 3 count, the 4 count, and they'll start over after the 3 count and the 4 count, looking for 3 points of near fall. I think we've been to 4 twice. Good power half. Williams trying to turn Nisko back on the mat and keep him here with 17 seconds left of the period. Nisko trying to peel off that hand out of the half Nelson. And Williams is going to settle back into a little bit deeper ride. 3-point near fall, nicely done for Braden Williams, and he'll take a 6-2 lead in our 120-pound weight class. And the time will run out in the opening period. We'll go to period number 2. Match boxing commercial free tonight by All About Moving and Storage, American Crystal Sugar, Franson Bank and Trust, and Abra Auto Body. And we start the second period with the wrestlers on their feet, and a 6-2 lead for Braden Williams over Clado Nisko at 120 pounds. And they'll lock up again on the double overhooks and underhooks and the throw again here at 120. And Nisko throwing. Williams able to step out of it. Now Williams looks to lift that leg. They're off the mat. They'll go back to the middle, and they'll reset again. Neither of these wrestlers in the top 6 at 120 pounds. We get restarted here with a single leg shot by Nisko. He's in deep on Williams, but Williams with a pretty good sprawl at this point, able to pick a back leg as well. And a stalemate will be ruled out of that combination. We'll go back to the middle and reset. Minute 31 in, or rather remaining in the second period. 31-6 in the duel with Grand Forks Central way out on top. We've reached the halfway point and then some. We're 8 bouts in, only 6 to go. So if Davies would make a comeback in this one, they're looking for points wherever they can get them. And right now, Williams has a lead in the match by a 6-2 score. Nisko, a low single leg shot. Great counter by Williams. He's wrestled very well defensively in this matchup. He comes up with a counter takedown, and Williams will take his lead to 6 by a score of 8-2. Clado Nisko has been quick from the feet, He's been good from the feet so far tonight, but Williams has had a very good counter, and now Williams going to work on a three-quarter Nelson turn. He's got the three-quarter Nelson locked in. He's turned Nisko momentarily, still not on his back yet, still no near fall being awarded. The three-quarter Nelson locked in strong for Braden Williams, one count of near fall, and now Nisko being turned, he'll go over, and the count goes on, and now Nisko in trouble. That three-quarter Nelson has put Nisko on his back. Right in the middle of the mat, there's the fall, and Grand Forks Central will pick up 6 more points and work their 4th consecutive pin. Time will be 3 minutes and 29 seconds on the fall. 4 consecutive falls for Grand Forks Central, and they'll go up 37-6 over Fargo Davies after our 120-pound bout. As we get ready for 126, it'll be Josh Asasi, ranked 4th in North Dakota at 126, going up against Sawyer Free, the expected matchup. So it'll be Asasi and Free at 126 pounds. Central leading by 31 points. And right now, I believe the duel has been secured by the Knights. There should be only 30 points remaining for Davies to pick up if they worked falls all the way through. So this fall, or that's like this duel, has come to a conclusion as far as the team score is concerned, with Grand Forks Central already getting the win, and now a quick takedown on a double leg shot by Josh Asasi. He has his team up by a score of 2-0 in the 126-pound bout. So Grand Forks Central dominant tonight, wrestling extremely well against a Fargo Davies team that's only been beaten twice this season. And here's a turn out of a half Nelson for Asasi at 126. And Asasi has got Free in trouble. And there's the fall for Josh Asasi. 6 consecutive falls. Correction, 5 for Grand Forks Central. The time of the fall will be at 42 seconds. 4 of those 5 falls have been in the opening minute of the opening period of the match. And Grand Forks Central will go up 43-6 in the duel after the 126-pound bout. We'll go to 132. It'll be Carter Eldy, a freshman for Grand Forks Central, and Hunter Barth, a senior for Fargo Davies. So the duel comes to an end. Grand Forks Central will improve their record to 5-1, and right now they would be in a tie for second place in the Eastern Dakota Conference with Valley City. Valley City has the tiebreaker. That duel was back the first week of the season, and Valley City won that matchup before Central had really put their team together due to some injury and a couple of weights being moved around. Our match is brought to you commercial free by New Vision Truck and Accessories, Lake Region State University in Devils Lake, PKM Electric Cooperative, and Nodak Insurance. Chris Moen, your agent in Grand Forks. We do see Eldy and Barth on the mat. Eldy for Central, Barth for Fargo Davies. Both wrestlers locking up on the wrists to get things started. And Eldy kind of controlling the middle of the mat, his back to it, forcing Barth out in the outer ring. Barth is the more experienced wrestler in this matchup. Barth is senior, Carter Eldy is a freshman. And Eldy going to work with Barth on the arms thus far. Now some distance between the two. Eldy patting the head, moves in, reestablishes a collar and elbow tie-up. And they move back towards the middle of the mat once again with 50 seconds to go in the opening period. No scoring in this one as of yet. Eldy perhaps trying to go up on the arms for a throw combination. Barth has been more happy to work the wrists thus far, and the official will step in and break them up. Bit of a stalemate. They're going to bring them back to the middle, and the official right now talking with both wrestlers, looking for a little bit more activity after a minute and 20 of the bout. We really haven't seen anything on the legs as of yet, and out of this restart, not much there either. Eldy going down on the wrists, and they meet just basically head-to-head. Barth tried to work Russian tie, made a quick sidestep, had advantageous position for maybe a half a second. Now they're out on the outer edge of the mat once again. They'll come back towards the middle. Eldy down to a hand, a little bit of a head bob. They reach out, but again, a lot of this bout has been done from distance thus far. Eldy on the outer ring, Barth controlling the middle of the mat at this point. Now they'll change positions. And both wrestlers meeting on the arms and head-to-head. Quick shot, nice little arm drag into an outside single by Eldy. And he's got Barth up in the air. Barth trying to counter with the whizzer in the front headlock, but time runs out before the final counter or takedown can be worked by either wrestler. It'll be 0-0 as we go to the second. The choice is Eldy's. He will defer, and Barth will choose bottom. So we'll see Barth going from the bottom position at 132 pounds to start the second period. Again, 43-6 in the duel. Grand Forks Central on top by 37. They've won the duel. No chance for Davies to come back with only 5 bouts, including this one, left to go tonight. And so the Knights will grab the victory, and they'll move to 5-1 in Eastern Dakota Conference Wrestling after tonight is over. 3 duels left to go. Pretty good competition left in that stretch as they'll try to work their way up towards a chance at an EDC championship. Reaching across the body is Eldie with Barth broken down on the mat. He's got a leg hooked up as well. He'll bar the arm 90 degrees across the back. Barth was able to slip the hold. Comes up to a sit-out turn-in, reaches back at the head, but Eldie, good ride from behind to stay there. And now Eldie going to work power half Nelson on the left-hand side. Had it in fairly well. Barth was able to look away from that. Now Eldie's got a good crossface on. He's got Barth caught inside on the crossface, but Barth goes to work peeling that arm and was able to take that away also. So Eldie's tried a couple of combinations. Barth has been able to counter. It's been very defensive from bottom so far for the Davies wrestler here at 132 pounds. Down to 50 seconds left of the second period. And now a high ride for Eldie. He's back on his hips trying to maintain a power half Nelson. Barth was able to reach back, get control of the left leg, but Eldie held on to that arm rather well and was able to leverage his body against it and pulls the leg back through. Goes to work crossface cradle again, and again has Barth down hard in the crossface. Reaches back after the cradle. So far not locked up. Instead decides to go corkscrew. Barth with a good counter trying to stand up against the corkscrew. Eldie athletically, strongly trying to pull that corkscrew through. Both wrestlers trying to meet one another. And right now, Eldie holding Barth down out of that corkscrew. This is a tough thing to do when your bottom wrestler has been able to get to his feet. Eldie will get rid of the corkscrew, tried to go outside, out front cradle, and had to hold on to a leg for some control after Barth was able to break off control momentarily. They'll come back to the middle and restart with 3 seconds left of period number 2. Eldie riding from the left-hand side, and that's going to do it in the second period. We'll go to the third. 43-6, Davies on top. It's Davies' choice here in the third period in our 132-pound bout. And the freshman, Carter Eldie, will choose bottom. So Eldie will go from bottom, and right now a point could win it. No score after 2. And it's Barth this time working from top, and he goes to work on a crossface as well. And he's got Eldie cradled up. The cradle locked in the middle of the mat. Eldie's in some trouble. Barth trying to find a way to plant and bring it back. He's got the crossface cradle locked underneath the body. Right now, Eldie able to lengthen himself out of it. He breaks the hold. And they'll go back to their base once again. Back into a base combination is Eldie. Barth reaching underneath the body into his own corkscrew. Eldie standing up against it. Eldie going back after the counter, and he comes up with a reversal. Going double leg on the reversal after Barth got aggressive with a corkscrew. Eldie comes up with the first 2 points of the match, and it's 2-0 in favor of freshman Carter Eldie at 132. We're down to 105 left to wrestle in the third period. 2-0 in favor of Eldie, and Barth held to the mat. Now we're going to see a caution for stalling against Carter Eldie. May have been a bit of a quick caution based on the way that the match has gone thus far, but when you're in this situation, you've seen 2.5 periods of wrestlers just wrestling from distance. Sometimes you do have to restart them on that caution just to kind of get in someone's head and let them know that it's time to wrestle. Another one of those will cost Eldie a point. 2-0, 45 seconds left to go in the second period. Eldie throwing in both legs, trying to lengthen Barth out, going to work on the head. Barth is defensive from bottom right now, not moving a lot. And Eldie doing his job, working some combinations up top. That'll be a stalemate. And so we'll break and reset with 37.2 seconds left to go. And here we go again, a sit out and turn by Barth off the restart. Eldie able to turn with him. Barth reaching back after a leg. Eldie got a bit high, trying to throw in maybe a half Nelson, one side and then the other. Power half Nelson now, he got high again. He's back on a hip. This worked for him earlier in the matchup. Barth has a very good counter though, coming out from the bottom, trying to go for that duck under turn. 15 seconds to go. Eldie's holding on for dear life, trying to hold that head and arm combination to keep Barth from popping out from over the top for the reversal, and a stalemate will be ruled. That's going to frustrate the Davies bench, but the right call. There was plenty of time there. The stalemate ruled, and that stalemate may save Eldie. Down to 4 seconds, down to 2 seconds, and Carter Eldie's going to win a 2-0 decision for Grand Forks Central at 132 pounds. And the lead will go to 40 at 46-6. As we'll go to our 138-pound weight class, 46-6, Grand Forks Central goes on top. At 138, we are expecting Alec Humble for Grand Forks Central and Ethan Claus for Fargo Davies. Humble a senior, Claus a sophomore, and Alec Humble ranked 3rd in North Dakota in the 138-pound weight class, and he's also the highest-ranked EDC wrestler in that weight class with 1, 2, 4, and 5, all coming from WDA ranks. And we move into our 138-pound class, brought to you commercial-free tonight on KNOX by Mayville State University. Spray Advantage, Roston Auto Sales, and a big double-leg takedown immediately for Alec Humble. And Humble will take a 2-0 lead on Claus of Fargo Davies here in our 138-pound bout. And immediately, a little reverse half Nelson turn being worked here by Humble. He's got it deep. He turns Claus over. Claus trying to turn through, and the head and arm held on to the reverse half Nelson. Claus tries to roll back the other direction to face his opponent. He's able to get out of the combination. They're off the mat, but 2 points of near fall for Alec Humble on a very nice reverse half turn. Will make it a 4-0 lead, I believe, for Grand Forks Central. They have yet to put those points up. A minute 20 to go in the opening period. And we are going to get those points now, as there were a couple of points of near fall for Grand Forks Central's Alec Humble. And Humble goes to work 2-on-1 on the waist with a minute 5 to go in the opening period. Humble going up towards the arms. And Claus broken down here a little bit as Humble goes to work again, half Nelson on the left-hand side. Trying to go underneath the arms now. He'll work that 90-degree bar across the back. Usually looking for a thread-the-needle type of combination in this situation. You can't bar it more than 90. The official steps in to make sure it stays legal. Humble will move that arm back to comply, and now Claus collapsing his right arm in, not to give any leverage to Humble to try to bar that up further underneath the arm and the thread-the-needle turn. And Claus continues to lengthen his body here. Humble trying to jump across. He's got an arm caught in a bit of a chicken wing if he wants it. Stays deep waist for the moment. Now goes chicken wing on it. Down to 20 seconds left of the period. He may load up doubles. He's got double chicken wing loaded up. Looking to walk that around the head. And right now, defensive is Claus, just trying to hold the legs of Humble so he can't turn it around the head out of the double chicken wing. And that'll frustrate Humble a little bit as he had that on strong. He had the double chicken wing on strong. He gets away from the legs, looks for a late turn with time running out. He'll run out of time to work a near fall out of that double chicken wing, and so it will remain a 4-0 lead as we go to the second period. Choice will go to Fargo Davies, and Davies is going to choose to defer. We'll see what Humble wants to do, and Humble's going to work bottom. Second period begins with Alec Humble of Grand Forks Central leading 4-0. Humble into a quick switch, and the nicely executed switch will make it 6-0. That was quick, took just 5 seconds. And now Humble tries to control Claus as he comes back up to his feet. Claus will come up with a single leg breakaway. First point of the match for Ethan Claus, the sophomore for Fargo Davies. 6-1 your score. The lead is 5 for Alec Humble at 138 pounds. Central with the commanding dual lead right now, 46-6. Outside single leg shot by Humble out of the Firemen's into the nice double leg takedown. And a nice high crotch combination for Humble will make it an 8-1 lead for Humble at 138. So some of the drama taken out of this one, as once this flipped to the smaller weights tonight, Grand Forks Central gets a fall in 30 seconds at 106, a fall in 56 seconds at 113, a fall at 329 at 120, a fall at 42 seconds at 126, and then a big 2-0 decision for a freshman over a senior at 132. And the only match so far to go to Fargo Davies tonight was when a substitute for Central came in at 170 to take on number 2 ranked Jaden Mares. Mares worked the fall and got 6 points for Davies. Those are the only 6 that are on the board at this point. Wrestlers off the mat. They'll reset as we go to the final minute of the second period. And Humble able to turn with an attempt by Claus to break away. Locks up an arm underneath the body. And they're off the mat in front of the Davies bench. And they'll go back to the middle to reset. It'll be Claus from bottom. And Humble will ride from the left-hand side. Claus trying to lunge out of the hold and a quick turn by Humble, but Claus will roll right through it. And now it's Humble going to work on that arm once again. He's gone to work on chicken wings and half Nelsons. Very good combinations on the arms so far. Maybe setting up a half Nelson on the left-hand side. Went right, trying to get Claus to duck that way. Came back to the left alertly, but Claus has been defensive with his arms thus far. And Humble's worked hard from top so far. Into a crossface. He's got the crossface in deep. Reaches after the leg. looking to cradle that up underneath the body. Claus trying to turn away from it, still turning. Humble gave up on the cradle, tried to turn back towards a good referee's position type base. Granby roll thrown on by Claus, but Humble able to let him roll through, maintains his control, and now bull drives on the left-hand side. And that's going to end the second period. 8-1. Alec Humble by 7 at 138 pounds. Only 3 bouts left to go after this one. As it turns out, the varsity matchup tonight is going to be abbreviated compared to what we had at the JV tonight. They had a full 14 roster spot junior varsity duel plus 8 exhibition matches after that, and then parents' night. And the crowd that was here saw Central rattle off 5 consecutive falls, and 4 of them came in the first minute of matches, and really sort of, as we mentioned, took a lot of drama out of the team competition tonight. Humble from bottom, able to break away with the stand-up, gets the escape, makes it 9-1. Humble in line now for the major decision with 1:35 left of the third. And they go to work again on the outer ring with Humble trying to reach back after a bit of a trip. Claus will meet him on the upper body. Duck under nicely into the high crotch again. Outside single converted into a double, and Humble with the dump will bring him to the mat, and he caught an arm on the way through as well, and he's got the half Nelson turned in, and now Claus is in some trouble. Reverse half thrown on. Claus went to work on the head. That was a mistake. Humble caught him in it and caught him high after the takedown, and now near fall awarded. So this will be at least 14-1, but right now it's Humble looking for the fall, and all Claus can do is scissor the hips and try to stay off his back for another minute of the third period. Humble continues to work. Humble still going chest to chest and now tightening his grip on Claus, who continues to be forced to the mat. Humble widening out that right arm, trying to force that shoulder blade down. The official looking for the fall. Another crank on that outside arm by Humble, continuing to force Claus's arm towards the mat. Official very closely looking for the fall here. They continue to turn, and Claus is hung up, not on the mat, but hung up. No place to go now as Humble's widening out nicely, 90 degrees, chest to chest. Maybe just not the leverage. Claus with some long legs, able to stay off his back at this point. And Humble now goes to work, perhaps trying to move back towards the head to increase his grip. He'll go back to the head, still chest to chest, but loads up on a head and arm combination. That will allow Claus to turn out of it. 3 points of near fall for Humble. 14-1, and that looks to be destined to be our final score. As time will run out in the third period, Alec Humble with a major decision for Grand Forks Central at 138 pounds, and it will be 50-6. Grand Forks Central over Fargo Davies with 3 bouts to go. At 145 pounds tonight, we're scheduled to see Mike Erickson, a sophomore for Central, and Ty Weber, a junior for Fargo Davies. And the match will be brought to you commercial-free tonight by Roston Auto Sales, East Grand Forks Dairy Queen, East Grand Forks Water and Light, Farmers Union Insurance, Aaron Dunphy, your agent in Grand Forks, and Walls Medicine Center. We get started at 145 pounds with the final bouts beginning to come to a conclusion in this one. And it will be Erickson versus Weber, the scheduled bout. Erickson, a sophomore for Central, Weber, a junior for Davies. And right now, with these 3 bouts coming up, Fargo Davies is just looking for a win somewhere. They won the opening bout tonight at 170, and they've lost 10 consecutive bouts in the duel. And with the way these two teams have wrestled throughout the year, maybe didn't see that coming, but Central has really put together a strong team as the season has moved on. They won the Gadberry Wrestling Tournament last weekend in Moorhead. That was a big win for them. There were other EDC teams there. Quick outside single leg shot into perhaps a double counter. Trying to counter it off was Mike Erickson, and they'll go off the mat with no exchange of points. So Erickson able to slip out of that hold. We're back to the middle of the reset. That was a good shot that time by Ty Weber. Erickson with a good counter, however. And we're back to the middle of the restart. And we're up in the collar and elbow once again over towards the Fargo Davies bench. Now a shot, nice single leg shot by Erickson in deep. Weber trying to counter with the crossface and reaching after a leg, and now he's got the leverage as Erickson tries to hold on to that outside, or actually a good inside single. He's low on it, just hasn't been able to really clamp that back up, and a good counter by Weber going up on the upper body to try to work some leverage. And we're going to see a whistle and a potentially dangerous hold that will break the combination. And we'll go back to the middle for a restart with 52 seconds left in period number 1. So back to the middle we go. And they'll lock up again the collar and elbows. Seen a lot of upper body stuff, even from the lower weights so far tonight. Both these teams seem to want to wrestle up there. And now a quick turn by Weber. He got caught in a counter, and Erickson comes up a little bit of a duck under type takedown and takes a 2-0 lead. And now Erickson aggressively going after a cross-face cradle. It looks like he's got it locked up underneath the body, looking for the turn to try to put a man on his back, and he's able to turn Weber over, but Weber caught an arm on the way through, and right now the wrestlers are battling for control. Erickson's in trouble, gave up the crossface cradle, got caught on the way through. Weber with a brilliant counter on the leg, and now it's Weber with a reversal and a head and arm combination, looking for the fall for Fargo Davies at 145, and there it is. So Weber will work the fall for Fargo Davies. The time will be at 1 minute and 53 seconds. Davies gets their second win and will cut the gap to 50-12 with the final 2 bouts set to go out on the mat tonight. Second win of the night for Fargo Davies as they get a win from Ty Weber at 145. At 152, Evan Bridgeford set to go on the mat for Grand Forks Central, a junior, against Brody Moore, a senior, for Fargo Davies. And this is a match that Davies will be favored in, as Brody Moore is ranked 4th in this 152-pound weight class, and a very aggressive takedown on Bridgeford to get things started. Bridgeford in some trouble countering after a single, but down by a score of 2-0, and Brody Moore goes to work from top rather quickly. Moore reaching underneath the body, trying to go 2-on-1 on the outside leg. Bridgeford working back to his base momentarily. And Moore in a little bit of trouble here. Will come out from underneath. He's able to maintain control. 2-on-1 turn again underneath the body. This is one of those techniques that we've seen really come on in wrestling the last 5 or 6 years. Little 2-on-1 right through the legs and a quick turn to the mat. You can execute that from the feet. A good way to pick up a 5-point move. And we saw Moore trying to work that on a couple of occasions against Evan Bridgeford. They go back to the middle of the reset. Bridgeford from bottom after surrendering the takedown. Down to 1 minute 15 left of the opening period. 2-0 with Moore on top. Goes to work on a leg ride. Now comes back over the top with a power half Nelson opposite end. Little leg ride going across the body for the power half. Bridgeford trying to catch him a bit high here, but the leg kept on by Moore. That's able to give him the leverage underneath the body. And he's able to go to work on that turn on Bridgeford. And when you see a good leg rider, it really is an art form. It's one of those things that when you watch it and you watch a man that's able to get high in a ride and be a little bit suspended in the air and is able to still hold on to control, it really is something to see. You'd think he's in trouble, but he doesn't think he's in trouble. And Moore knew that he wasn't at that point. He keeps the leg ride on, goes to work power half again. Bridgeford up to his base and then broken back down. Now a chicken wing thrown on the left-hand side. Bridgeford trying to balance his way out of that chicken wing. The outer leg, actually, the inner leg rather, is also hooked. A good technique here into the bull drive by Moore. Bridgeford was turned momentarily, able to come back to his base. Now chicken wing on the left-hand side. Half Nelson thrown on the right. And we'll see what Moore does here. Tried to go upper body, not there. Tried to work double. Bridgeford took that away. Going to catch him on the chin, could not. He had Bridgeford high momentarily, and time runs out. So Moore, a lot of really solid combinations from top. But the takedown is all he's managed thus far, and he'll lead 2-0. As we go to the second period, Moore's choice, and rather than defer, he'll choose bottom. So Moore will go from bottom into a sit-out turn-in. Bridgeford trying to turn with him and counter. And goes to work 2-on-1 on the body, trying to hold a combination. Moore trying to go outside a leg. Thought about perhaps a Granby, then thought better of it. Gets collapsed back in on his base. Now to a hip and a turn. Bridgeford able to counter that. Goes underneath the body looking for an arm. Not there. Moore reaches back out of that. Bridgeford continues to work up towards the shoulder blades. Reaches underneath now looking for that drape cradle combination. Head high. Moore caught it. That head came out and Moore alertly went looking for it, and Bridgeford's in some trouble. When you go for the drape cradle without the crossface, if you don't control the arms, you get in trouble when an experienced wrestler knows what's happening, and Moore caught that head. Nothing awarded as of yet. The control apparently hasn't been lost. Bridgeford will bail out of the hold. Moore will spin back to take the reversal rather than push the issue, and it's now 4-0 with Moore on top and a minute to wrestle in the second period. Moore back behind Bridgeford, tries to crank him over, 2-on-1 on the head. Bridgeford rolls through that. And Moore continues to work from top, overhooking a leg once again. Reaches out over the far side. Now on a wrist, going bar arm. Not there. He'll go across the face into a bar arm on that left-hand side. Bridgeford basically defensive from bottom at this point. Able to slip out of the bar arm, lengthens his body back out. Moore goes right to work. Again, the bar arm locked in on the left-hand side. Reaches out on the right, looking for a turn. Bridgeford stays out of that, lengthening the body back up. Headgear slipping on Moore. The official steps in to straighten those out. Moore able to see what he's doing at that point. Awfully tough to do that. Chicken wing locked in. Had the bar arm. Bridgeford able to reach out of it, though. And again, another clean defensive technique from bottom for Bridgeford to stay out of trouble. But another chicken wing locked on by Moore. And now goes to work turning that over the top of his body, and time will run out before he can execute the turn. That'll make it 4-0 as we go to the third period. Our match tonight is brought to you commercial free by Walls Medicine Center, by the Marshall County Fair, Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge, the Golf Center, and Acme Tools. We thank our premier sports partners, Franson Bank and Trust and Mayville State University, for bringing us to Central High School tonight. Thank all of you that are tuning in on Rock 95, and those of you that have joined us tonight as well on KNOXradio.com for our live video stream. We hope you've enjoyed that tonight. A little sit out and turn by Bridgeford, trying to catch Moore's leg high. He has caught it. Moore trying to slip those legs back in, however. And Moore had the leg ride momentarily, steps out of it as Bridgeford goes to work on a good single leg counter, tries to hip Moore down. He's got Moore in a bit of peril right now in the middle of the mat. Bridgeford trying to duck out underneath the body on Moore. He's got Moore suspended up in the air. He turns. He's able to execute at least a turn at this point, and now he'll get the reversal. So Bridgeford gets the reversal. Moore a very quick escape out of the stand-up. That'll make it 5-2. Moore's lead is 3 with 1 minute and 5 seconds to go. Bridgeford back to the feet. Nice piece of wrestling here by Bridgeford against Brody Moore, who's ranked 4th in the state at 152 pounds. He's the highest-ranked Eastern Dakota Conference wrestler in the state. And Bridgeford getting a good look at what will be EDC tournament competition against him. They're off the mat, but Moore able to work a double leg takedown or maybe an even outside single as they go off the mat. He was able to keep his toes in. That was a key piece there for Brody Moore. Kept his toes inside the outer ring to get credit for the takedown before they break the technique. And they'll go back to the middle and reset with 45 seconds left of the third. 7-2. It's a 5-point lead for Brody Moore over Evan Bridgeford. One bout remaining. That'll be our 160-pound bout tonight. And 2 more ranked wrestlers that are set to go against one another at 160. As we'll see Connor Klopek for Fargo Davies ranked 3rd and Ben Stevens for Central ranked 5th. And neither of them have wrestled yet tonight, meaning that is the matchup that we should get. So a number 3 versus number 5 matchup to wrap things up tonight. We were denied really what we thought would be our prize tonight at 170 with Will Rorick number 1 and Jaden Mayers number 2, but Rorick opting up to 182, coming in a little heavy today, and that was by design according to Jeff Welsh, the head coach of Central. As time runs out in the third period, Brody Moore will take home the decision. 7-2, 3 more points for Fargo Davies. That'll make it 50-15. Davies gets back to within 35, and we get ready for the final bout of the night. Connor Klopek for Davies, Ben Stevens for Central. Number 3 in the state for Davies, number 5 in the state for the Knights. And from what we understand, if they are the wrestlers that report tonight, it will be the first meeting of these two, and that's what it is. As we will see both Ben Stevens and Connor Klopek go on the mat to wrap things up tonight here at Central. And our match brought to you tonight commercial free by Home of Economy, by Hugo's, by Gregory Norman Funeral Chapel, Perkins Family Restaurant, and Jarrell Sports Center and Hockey World. So 3 versus 5 in the state to wrap things up tonight. Fargo Davies in the form of number 3 ranked Connor Klopek and Ben Stevens, number 5 for Grand Forks Central. Stevens wrestling from some distance. Klopek trying to move in, control an arm. Now Stevens will counter up on the collar. And they'll exchange head and arm combinations out in the center ring. Klopek tried to hold a wrist, wanted to maintain control in the middle. And so far Stevens has been happy to wrestle from distance. Little arm drag and into a double leg takedown. Nice shot attempt, and Klopek comes up with the opening takedown to take a 2-0 lead. Really set up well by the arm drag. He came to the arm drag a moment before, made a good aggressive sidestep on the arm drag, and that was able to get Stevens a little defensive, and even with distance, Klopek very quick on the lower legs, and Stevens didn't really know which way Klopek was going to go after that arm drag attempt. Stevens will work the escape on the stand-up, makes it 2-1. Another outside single leg into the double by Klopek. So fast. Stevens counters on the upper body. Bear hug out for Klopek. And Klopek with the throw. Stevens trying to counter underneath the arms. Does so. They come back to their feet. And Stevens now with an overhook on the left-hand side. His left. Tries to load it up head and arm. A duck under attempt by Klopek. Into a head and arm. And Stevens has Klopek. Throws him to the mat. And there's the head and arm thrown on by Stevens. And Klopek is in trouble. Klopek tried to roll through it twice, but Stevens caught him twice. Another roll through attempt by Klopek. Another roll through attempt by Klopek. Stevens holds on again. Now Stevens trying to hold as Klopek lunged up towards his base. Stevens tightening that head and arm right in the middle of the mat. 9 seconds left of the period. Can Klopek survive? Stevens lynches it in again, takes a look at the scoreboard. Down to 2, down to 1, and Klopek will survive to a second period on a 5-point move by Ben Stevens to take a 6-2 lead. So Klopek in all kinds of trouble at the end of the period as Ben Stevens was able to catch him. Klopek had the bear hug. Stevens continued to work arms, and Klopek escapes to go to the second, down by 4. We'll go to the second period. Klopek will have bottom position. Stevens will ride left-hand side. So now Stevens has shown his hand, obviously, with the head and arm combination. If the wrestlers come back to the feet, we'll see where he goes next as Klopek to a stand-up. Turns through after Stevens brought him down. Now trying to come underneath on an escape is Klopek. Stevens trying to hold on with legs on the head, now legs on the body. And after a leg underneath the body as well. Klopek underneath, turning, and he'll turn Stevens through for the reversal. 6-4, Klopek gets 2 back, and Connor Klopek is back within 2 on Ben Stevens in the second period. 1:25 left to go of period number 2. Klopek up towards the head, trying to work crossface. Now perhaps making his way back towards the arms for a different combination. Getting a score update, by the way, for those of you on Rock 95. Red River leading their matchup tonight in hockey by a score of 2-0. They're up against Fargo South Shanley tonight. That matchup going on at Eagles Arena. And another roll through by Stevens on a head and arm, but this time Klopek had an aggressive bit of momentum, was able to roll through it all. 45 seconds left to go in this second period. 6-4, Connor Klopek down by 2 to Ben Stevens after Ben Stevens executed a 5-point move at the end of the opening period. Latest score update we had from Fargo Davies was 0-0 after 1. Grand Forks Central and Fargo Davies, but Central outshot Davies 16-2 in the first period tonight. And so we'll continue in this 160-pound bout. And Connor Klopek goes to work chicken wing on the right-hand side, now reaching out for a bar arm as well on the opposite side. Stevens turning with him. Klopek's got the chicken wing on rather strong on that right-hand side. Stevens is a bit concerned about it. You can see him trying to move away from that. Gets back up to his base. Klopek, chicken wing, deep waist, tries to turn it through. He's 2-on-1 underneath the body, and he turns Stevens through, but Stevens able to turn all the way through. Nothing on the near fall turn there, and this second period is about to run out with a 50-15 score for Central and a 6-4 lead for Stevens over Klopek as we go to the third. And we'll go to the third with Ben Stevens from bottom. So Stevens will work from bottom. Klopek will ride from the left-hand side. And Stevens up to his feet. Klopek counters with the double leg counter, brings him right back to the mat, tries to catch the legs high as well, but Stevens is able to roll through that. And they'll continue on the far side of the mat with Klopek on top in that position with right now, Klopek down by 2. He's going to have to come up with something big from top to overcome this 2-point lead that Ben Stevens has. It's going to be a hard fight for Connor Klopek, and Klopek will allow Stevens to come back to the feet. That makes it 7-4. If Klopek is not able to work takedowns, aggressively throughout the remainder of this third, that head and arm is going to stand up for Ben Stevens. So Klopek going to work, little single leg shot. Stevens a good sprawl, goes to work underneath the body. Klopek continues to move in on the single, but Stevens caught him on a front cradle. He hips Klopek to the mat, and he comes up with a takedown. Stevens with a counter takedown, works front cradle, and now going crossface, trying to move laterally to get a turn perhaps on Klopek. Klopek holding on to the single, but is in a little bit of trouble. He's trying to work for a reversal, but time running out. Clock down to 40 seconds left to go in the third period. Klopek holding a single. Stevens more than happy to go 2-on-1 across the face and just watch time run away. Klopek will give up on the single, takes the escape, but he's down 4, 9-5, and now Stevens dancing a bit, trying to run some time off the clock. 25 seconds left of the third. Klopek ducking in. Shot attempt by Stevens, outside single. Klopek tries to throw him. Stevens bridges out of the throw. Down to 15 seconds left. Klopek on his hip. Stevens with another takedown. And Ben Stevens is going to work an upset for Grand Forks Central to finish the duel at 160 and escape. A quick shot by Klopek. It won't be enough. Ben Stevens wins 11-6 at 160 pounds. And Stevens works an upset over number 3 ranked Connor Klopek at 160 pounds to end the duel tonight. And your final score in the matchup this evening will be Grand Forks Central 53 and Fargo Davies 15. It's a commanding win for Grand Forks Central over Fargo Davies tonight. A commanding win for the Knights over the Eagles that should secure their spot in the Eastern Dakota Conference, or rather in the state duels this year, and give them a chance, at least a chance, to keep themselves afloat for an EDC championship. For those of you on Rock 95, we'll send you back to regular programming. For those of you viewing on KNOXradio.com, stay tuned. We'll come back with Jeff Welsh, the head coach of the Grand Forks Central Knights, to wrap things up tonight next on KNOXradio.com. The Knights with a commanding win tonight in high school wrestling as they knock off Fargo Davies by a final score of 53-15 tonight. We're with Jeff Welsh on KNOXradio.com, the head coach of the Grand Forks Central Knights.
Welcome back.
Well,
to
Coach,
Grand
you took
Forks
some
Central
of the
High
drama
School.
out of this
Proud
tonight
tradition.
when you reeled off, I think, 10 consecutive wins, and out of 5, you got 4 falls in the opening period tonight. Your younger wrestlers did a fantastic job tonight of getting some falls and making things work.
Yeah, we wrestled really great. If you would have told me before the duel that we win 11-14, I would have been really happy. We started out a little slow. I thought we might get a few more bonus points there in the upper weights, but those lower weights really came through and wrestled well for us.
Well, let's go through it. Obviously, Will Rorick with the 10-2 decision moving up tonight to 182 pounds. But where things really started rolling for you is Cam Bridgeford moving up to 195, working a fall in 1:48, and then a 45-second pin at heavyweight, a 30-second pin at 106, a 56-second pin at 113, and at that point you're rolling tonight.
Right, yep. And, we thought we'd be favored pretty well between 106 and 138. 32 is a little bit of a toss-up match. I forgot to mention in the preview, but Carter Eldey wrestled really well. And Humble had a solid match at 138. And even our guys, Mike Erickson, I thought he wrestled really well against one of their tougher kids, Weber, and so did Evan Bridgeford against one of their better kids, Brody Moore. So even our guys who lost matches wrestled really well, I thought.
And then maybe the standout match for you tonight at 160 to end things up, Ben Stevens.
Yeah.
An 11-6 decision over Connor Klopek, who's ranked 3rd in North Dakota. Stevens ranked 5th. Got
Right.
the 5-point move, and maybe we thought that's all he had in the arsenal, but those takedowns late really set a tone for later, don't they?
He's really a gamer. He's a kid that, he just has the heart of a lion, and he just gets stronger as the match goes on, and he just wears guys down. So, and he's kind of an unknown. He didn't come out till he was a sophomore, and then had a really good season last year. He got sick at state, but still almost placed at state, and he's had a really solid year this year. I think he's leading our team in wins, and he's quietly got like 23, 24 wins on the season already. So it was a great win. It was a surprise, but it wasn't a surprise because we always feel he can wrestle with anybody and catch anybody like he did out here.
So the implications of this one going forward, you end up with a record of 5-1 right now in the league.
Right.
Put you in a tie with Valley City. As you know, you'll be down on tiebreakers because that duel back before Thanksgiving again.
Right.
One of those that catch you before your team's put together. But this should all but secure a spot for you in the state duels with a presumed perhaps win over Red River and maybe Devils Lake as well.
Right. Or we beat Devils Lake already. We got North, Red River, and West Fargo left. And we don't want to look past North and Red River, but they have some opens, so that makes it tough for them to beat us. If we can run the table and I know how much we got to beat West Fargo by, but I don't want to say it by. If we could beat them by that, we would win the point differential if we all had one loss. So, but we got to take it one match at a time. We got North at home next weekend or next week along with Hillsborough. So one duel at a time.
All right. Well, Coach, congratulations. Fantastic outing tonight.
Yeah.
You really have to feel well about not just the win, but how much quality wrestling you got out of your team.
Yeah,
tonight.
our guys wrestled great. So we've been pushing them hard, and they've been responding.
Jeff Welsh, the head coach of the Grand Forks Central Knights, joining us tonight. Again, your final score is 53-15 with Central getting the win.
This is Rock 95.
With that, we'll send you back to our regular programming here on KNOXradio.com. Until next time, Ryan Cunningham for Noah Chalaya and Brad Schmidt on our camera crew tonight. We thank you for joining us on KNOXradio.com.